Thanks, Kim. We are continuing our deep dive into menopause on this women's health journey. Now, this time, we're touching on the changes in body composition and weight alongside other crucial foundations of health. Maddie Gresham, who is fresh off the NAMS conference, is going to share the latest research on these areas and why understanding body changes is so essential. Welcome back, friend.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming here. How was the conference?
Oh, it was wonderful. There were so many great speakers and new information. So, yes, I'm pumped.
And luckily, we get to get some of that information today.
Happy to share.
Yes. Okay, so in the past, we have talked about menopausal symptoms. Are weight changes and fluctuations associated with that?
Yes, absolutely. So this is something that we see not only in clinical studies, that it's a common concern of women, but I also see it clinically, that women become very frustrated because they're not only not feeling like themselves, but they're noticing body composition changes and they don't look like themselves or what they ideally want to see when they look in the mirror. So I definitely see this as one of the prime symptoms that really affects our quality of life.
And you know what, weight is such a touchy subject when it comes to women, because it seems like whether it's a physical or medical thing or not, we're always critiquing ourselves.
We're so hard on ourselves.
Appearance. I don't know why.
We're not kind with ourselves or patient. It's hard.
Unfortunately so. But what do women commonly experience in regards to weight changes with menopause?
Yeah, so it's important to note that women do experience body composition changes that are independent of just chronological aging. Obviously, everyone as we age, we may gain weight, but for women in menopause, the lack of estrogen then causes a decrease in our lean muscle mass and also an increase of visceral fat, which is fat deep in the midsection that's harder to lose.
Oh, that's fupa.
We don't want that, right?
We all have a name for it in some way, form, or fashion, right? So how can we help mitigate these changes?
Yeah, so there's a number of different things that we can do in our lifestyle to help with this. We know and we've heard before that diet and exercise is essential. Just to touch on those briefly, when we think of diet for aging, protein and fiber kind of want to be king and queen. So we want to make sure that we're focusing on that. For exercise, cardio is wonderful, but women really need to be doing weight training and resistance training to build muscle and our lean muscle. And then the one thing that was really mentioned at the conference was the importance of sleep and how sleep can really affect these changes and our lifestyle decisions and our nutrition as well.
So what are some of the studies related to that was mentioned at the conference?
Yeah, so it was very interesting. The studies showed that even if we're a little bit deficient in sleep, even, 60 minutes to 90 minutes, it may lead to us making poor choices the next day. The signal of hunger may be diminished. We're likely to eat additional calories, 300 to 400 additional calories. We see that the insulin resistance increases. We can see that that can cause more subcutaneous fat. And we also are more likely to eat more sugary foods instead of foods that are high in fiber or protein or whole grains.
I'm not undergoing menopause, but it sounds like I was a part of that study. Oh. You were speaking a lot of my life,
right?
Yeah,
we can relate.
Absolutely. Okay, so what are some tips to optimize sleep and nutrition?
Yeah, so sleep hygiene is very important. So making sure that we stay on a sleep schedule. They also found that a sleep schedule is highly important. Not eating before bed is important. Having a bedtime routine that helps you relax, minimizing that screen time, 60 minutes before bed. Those are all going to be very beneficial. Only using our bed for sleep or intimacy is very important. And then nutrition, again, really focusing on trying to get an adequate amount of protein, about 1.3 grams to 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight. And then also fiber. Fiber is going to help support our gut microbiome. It's going to help with that changes in body composition. So those are kind of the really important things to focus on too.
And before we get too carried away and I forget, you did give us a graphic.
Yes, I love visuals.
And I love that about you. So if we could see that, you can kind of explain what it is.
Absolutely.
Yes, so what exactly are we looking at
So this
here?
is going to show, when you look in the square that's more over on the right, it's kind of breaking down what is independent for women. So we see that when estrogen decreases, we see an increase in our visceral fat. We see a decrease in our lean muscle mass. Muscle burns much more energy at rest than any other tissue. So when we have an increase in visceral fat and a decrease in lean muscle mass, we have less burning of energy, and that's where we see leads to the weight gain or the body composition changes.
What about women who aren't necessarily in a position where they can be physically able to lift weights or to mitigate in that way?
Yeah, so I see women who have a number of different medical conditions. You know, you may have like a history of a car accident and back injuries, or like you're saying, something that kind of limits the activities that are comfortable or safe for you. So I think in that instance, collaborating with a physical therapist would be a wonderful idea to see what we can kind of modify for you. Resistance training is good if you can't lift weights, using some resistance bands. Using a weighted vest while we're just walking or being active around the house is also something that's really beneficial too.
Yeah, and going back to the conference, since you're educating us, you had the opportunity to be educated. What are some things that you walked away with that you didn't necessarily know before?
I think it's great. It's almost this juxtaposition where we have so much new information, which is wonderful, but it also highlighted all the new information that we need to still assess for women. There was a great study that was done on 121 million women, and they studied if estrogen, when initiated early before menopause, had benefit. And in that study, it did show it significantly reduced the risk of stroke and heart attack. So that was, and breast cancer as well. So we need more information about the type of estrogen and how long and all of that, but I think we're getting much more great studies to share and give women guidance, but so much more is still needed.
Yeah, you know, when I'm out and about and I meet women who are going through menopause or perimenopause, I always reference you, right?
Oh, thank you.
So for a click back for them, they can come look for this information. How can they get in contact with you in your office?
Absolutely. So our office is in the Proctor Professional building, so out in North Peoria. You can give our office a call to schedule an appointment, and we're very happy to see you. I love talking about menopause. I'll do it all day long.
And you are so jovial. Like, she is so serious. She really loves these conversations, and I enjoy them with you also. So thank you for another successful Women's Health Wednesday.
Thanks for having me back.
Of course. All right, guys, 25 News.